It's only when you present an issue at the plenary that Senate can set up a committee. Not on a hearsay. Bukola Saraki that's a personal opinion. He was a Senate president. He knows the rules of the Senate. He knows who can act on hearsay. It is a hearsay. Senator Natasha never presented any issue before us.
Okay, based on your eyewitness experience and your experience, or the place that you hold as the chief whip, yes, how would you advise that we see this matter through?
Let her read the rules.
Go ahead. Let's know how this should be handled.
I can't say she knows what to do. Let her read the rules.
Enlighten
I'm
us.
not her lawyer.
But if we were to draw a parallel between what happened with Senator Bukola Saraki,
yes,
then when he was Senate President,
yes,
I do not think the issue about what they call it, the import duties concerning the vehicles, yes, the SUV vehicles,
yes,
that was a bone of contention.
Yes.
Was presented before.
It was presented before, and it was assigned to a committee. It was presented by Senator. It came by word of motion.
Okay, if you have said that.
No, let me. You have to know our rules.
Okay.
It came by word of motion. But if you want the Senate to act on any issue, probably your privilege has been infringed, or you have a report to make, you come by word of motion. All the senators will hear it. It will be put to vote. If you find merit in your complaint, that is only when it will be referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee.
But Senator Nweboye, now where I'm going to with this is,
yes,
already the Senate,
yes,
some are brandishing the Senate as very misogynistic.
It's not so.
So if that's not the case,
yes,
when allegations, yes, of sexual misconduct,
yes,
is being raised,
yes,
shouldn't it be taken with seriousness rather than shoving it aside? Because she has said aside of the story, you were not there with them, yes, from the night into the morning.
I was there all through, and I left with her.
She could have returned back.
She couldn't return back. Listen to her facts. She didn't return back. The Senate president was there with his wife.
So she believes, I'm not saying whether it's true or not,
yes,
she believes that she has been wronged. And she was put in a very uncomfortable situation.
Yes.
Whether it's true or not,
yes,
why don't we leave that for the ethics committee to decide? As against shooting it down.
That is only if and only if the matter is presented before us. Get it right.
So that's why I said the thing
first
about
allegation, remember how she started. She came on air that the Senate president is suppressing the voice of female senators.
Yes.
I'm coming. That was her first allegation.
Yes.
And we said no. I came here and said no. We are not suppressing the voice of the female senators. All the 4 female senators in the 10 senates are all committee chairmen, not minding that they are first-timers. And by the practice, as a first-timer, you ought to have understudied the proceedings of how a committee meetings used to be before you can chair it. Because a committee chairman is like a Senate president. You preside over the committee. You oversight ministers and MDAs. So you need to have an experience. But because of the love the Senate president and the 10th Senate has for women, these 4 women are all committee chairmen. I can name them. Herself, Senator Kingibe, Senator Diat, and the former deputy governor of Rivers. They are all committee chairmen. How do you think you believe her that the Senate president is suppressing the female voices in the Senate?
Is it too wild to be imagined, or what are you saying that it can never happen?
It didn't happen.
Okay. Are you saying it can never happen?
But it can happen, but it didn't happen.
Okay, that's still
it never
that's
happened.
Still based on what you said you witnessed, and that's completely fine. But now, do you think
now there's a platform? She was talking, and I posted this eyewitness account. Senator Natasha did not controvert any of my statement herein.
She doesn't have to.
She has to.
Not necessarily.
Let her come up and say that I was not there, or that I didn't drive in the same car with her.
Okay.
Let her come out and say it.
Do you believe?
She can't say it.
Do you believe that the Senate Ethics Committee lacks the impartiality needed to fairly investigate allegations against its own president? And if so, what does that say about the committee's overall credibility?
Every committee is independent. If there's someone the Senate president will appear. Senate is a very serious institution. A resolution of a committee, no man can thwart it. The Senate President cannot change it. That is the rule.
True.
The resolution of a committee, no human being can change it. It's only a court of law. No human being can change it. And if the committee deemed it fit to invite the Senate President, he must appear.
All right, Senator Nweboye. Now, from the look of things, it seems the Senate is just sweeping this aside, or majority of the senators.
We're not sweeping it aside. Remember, get my point clear. The issue is not before the Senate. And if she brings it before the Senate, it will be referred to the appropriate committee. And the Senate President will not preside over the matter.
But the language of the senators here,
no,
or the majority are already shooting her down before she even arrives.
Let her do the right thing. Let her do the right thing.
Majority of the senators, their body language says it all. Like the former Senate President earlier said in one of his posts, you can't be a judge in your own case. If you want transparency to be carried out, because you are Fabio, Senate President should step aside. And these are the right words from Bukola Saraki, former Senate President, which I know to be the right thing for them to do. Until proven guilty, no one is guilty. They have to first and foremost ask him to step aside, set up a committee, and let Senator Natasha, what you have not done, why some senators are still saying that they don't have that same petition within them, you have to do it. So long as you have also sued Senator Godswill Akpabio for 100 billion naira, there's need for the senators, the committee in charge of it, to be aware of this. Put it according to how it should be, so that all your evidence, they can be verified. Anyway, share and follow the page. Thank you as you do so.